Okay, so my question. Okay, I'm gonna try to keep this nice, but I'm gonna ask you a little, like maybe one or two questions.
Okay.
I'm gonna start off with the tough questions. You see how OCM's run in New York City, yes?
A little bit, yes. To be fair, we have our own stuff in Vermont. I haven't followed it all that closely, but I'll try to answer your questions.
Okay, so what have you seen?
So I have seen that there's been some struggles with shops that are opening that are not regulated, right? To me, that seems like one of the biggest issues because it's making it more difficult for your regulated folks to get open. And they're wondering how they're going to be able to compete if that's going on. So that's the thing that I've seen the most about.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep it short. Could you answer it a lot if you haven't seen the actual aftermath, even the before math? So my real question is this, because my theory is this: the gray area. This gray area is such a huge proponent in policing and taking away things, right? How can we move forward within the realms of this great area? Because the great area is a huge loom over not only regular people, the government, because the government got to come in and say, I'm going to take your stuff because of the great area.
So I think the easiest way for me to speak to this is to talk about what we did in Vermont, right?
Okay.
So we knew that we were not going to be able to do this if we didn't bring the legacy market into the regulated market. We knew that so much that that's what our legislature put in our enabling statute, that the CCB was to move as much of the legacy market into the regulated market. And we did that by going to people. Like I spent my first, I'm going to talk about this in a little bit, but I spent my first summer on the CCB doing two things, reading and talking to anyone who was willing to talk to me wherever they were at in their legacy grow. If they wanted to call me and not use their name, that's what we did. We had meetings where people could show up and talk to us. They were all online. They didn't have to have their camera on. They didn't have to say who they were, but they could tell us what it meant to them and what they needed to be able to move into the regulated market. Because we weren't going to be successful if we didn't bring those folks in. They're the ones who have the market, and in Vermont, they had a successful market. So we had to make sure that there was a space for them so they could come into the regulated market, and that it was going to be worth it for them, right? So the things that can be done are, how do you bring folks in? How do you bring folks who are operating that shouldn't be operating? How do you bring them in? And at what level, right? You don't want to make it so that the folks who are following all the rules and doing all the right things and taking all the right steps are pushed out, right? Because those folks are doing a good job. Then how do you balance bringing in the folks who are operating and need to come up to compliance and need to do the right things? And then how do you make sure that the folks that are doing all the right things get the support they need to be successful?
Wow, that was really great and greatly said. So my only advice is, I'm going to need you to give the New York City OCM people a call. Hey man, I got some ideas. But my last thing is this: you speak about success a lot, but what is success in this business? You speak on it. Can we get there in the confines of everybody can get a share?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, not everybody wants the same share, right?
But that's my point.
Yeah, some people want to have a big business and they want to have multiple businesses. And some people want a small business to sustain their family. There's room for all of it,
Okay.
right? It depends on success is defined by that business and exactly what they want out of it. Like we've been talking about today, it's about your culture, it's about your brand,
Yes.
it's about what you want out of your business and where you see it going. Everybody's got a different level for that.
Yes. Julia, thank you very, very much for this interview. We are at the HR Summit, Manhattan, Liam College.